Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And good morning to all of you on the YouTube channel. I'm Jean Mooney, your worship leader for today. We're especially glad to have those of you who may be with us for the first time and hope to see you again soon. All right, I'd like to remind everybody right now to please silence your cell phone or any other electronic device that you may have with you that makes a noise or a beep or a ding or a notification of any kind. You're trapped now. Our speaker today is Marjorie Speirs. Marjorie Speirs is a longtime member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Vancouver. She holds an MA in Applied Theology and is trained in spiritual direction. Marjorie calls herself a mystic with Christian roots and Taoist inclinations. She's the mother of 2 daughters and the doting grandmother of 4 toddlers, all under the age of 5. Eastrose Fellowship gathers on the traditional homelands of the Clackamas Chinook and other indigenous peoples of this region. We acknowledge the harm of forest removal and honor the continuing presence, sovereignty, and resilience of Native communities, including the Chinook Indian Nation and the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde. May we be guided toward relationship, repair, and right action. So let's take a moment now and greet each other here today, both in the chapel and online. Please stand and face the beautiful origami cranes back there, because the clock is missing.
Yeah.
But wave hello, and then take a moment and greet our neighbors. For our online guests, if you would like to share a joy or a sorrow during that portion of the service, you can do so by entering it into the YouTube chat, and those will be shared aloud with everyone. I also encourage you to identify yourself in the chat so we can better acknowledge your presence with us today. And now for our responsive call to worship, a reading from Matins by John O'Donohue. I arise today.
In the name of silence, womb of the word, in the name of stillness, home of belonging, in the name of solitude, of the soul and the earth.
I arise today.
Blessed by all things, wings of breath, delight of eyes, wonder of whisper, intimacy of touch, eternity of soul, urgency of thought, miracle of health, in the grace of God.
May I live this day.
Compassionate of heart, clear in word, gracious of awareness, courageous of thought, generous in love.
For our chalice lighting, I'm reading Open to Possibility by Irene Glass. We kindle light, and with it, possibility, that we are more than the sum of our parts, that the world is more than a problem to solve, that illumination is more than simple flame. We light the chalice and open to possibility.
The opening words are by J. Jai. Leave yourself behind. Everything that you can perceive is perceived within you. So why do you keep praying outside of yourself? The entire universe rises and falls inside your heart. The real pilgrims know this. They know it to be like this. Without ever leaving the heart, they travel vaster than eternity to join this caravan. You must leave yourself behind.
Please rise as you are willing and able, in body or spirit, and sing number 1008 in the Teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. And the words will be on the screen.
Each of us
And now it's time for our story for all ages.
Good morning.
Good morning.
One of our UU values is interdependence, the understanding that none of us exists entirely on our own. We're all connected to each other, sometimes in ways we can see, like we're all here together today, and sometimes in ways we can't see. Today's story asks us to imagine those connections as invisible strings of love, stretching between us wherever we go. As you listen, I invite you to think about the invisible strings that connect you to the people you love and to the interdependent web of all existence. This is The Invisible String, written by Patrice Karst and illustrated by Jeff Stevenson. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly, it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried as they ran out to her. "Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "We want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know we're always together, no matter what." "But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" said Liza. Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. "I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string." "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. "You don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love." "But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Liza. "Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts," said Jeremy. "Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string?" Liza asked. "She sure does," said Mom. "And best friends, like me and Lucy?" asked Liza. "Best friends, too." "How far can the string reach?" "Anywhere and everywhere," Mom said. "Would it reach me even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean?" asked Jeremy. "Yes," Mom said, "even there." "Or a mountain climber?" "Even there." "A ballerina in France?" "Even there." "A jungle explorer?" "Even there." "How about an astronaut out in space?" "Yes, even there." Then Jeremy quietly asked, "Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven?" "Yes, even there." "Does the string go away when you're mad at us?" "Never," said Mom. "Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there." "Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to see, or who gets to ride in the front seat, or what time to go to bed?" "Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed." And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have. until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, they now could clearly see no one is ever alone. May we remember that even when we feel alone, we're part of something larger than ourselves. And with that, it's time for us to go back to RE. So I invite the adults along the center aisle to form a bridge, and we'll sing the children out.
We hold you in our love as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
And now I invite everyone into the quiet time in the service. Please uncross your arms and legs. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. Place your feet on the floor. Drop your shoulders. Take in a big inhale and exhale. And do a little intentional breathing. 4 beats slowly in through your nose, 5 or 6 beats out through your mouth in a steady rhythm, creating peace and spaciousness as you move from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, grounded on the earth. And as you breathe, I have words from Alan Watts. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing, in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. Take a couple more breaths and gently open your eyes. Please remain seated and sing number 123 in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life. The words will be on the screen. We will sing it in English and then in Spanish.
All the
Today's reading is by Joan Halifax, an American Zen Buddhist teacher. We go into the darkness. We seek initiation in order to know directly how the roots of all beings are tied together, how we are related to all things, how this relationship expresses itself in terms of interdependence, and finally, how all phenomena abide within one another. Yes, the roots of all living things are tied together. Deep in the ground of being, they tangle and embrace. This understanding is expressed in the term non-duality. If we look deeply, we find that we do not have a separate self-identity, a self that does not include sun and wind, earth and water, creatures and plants, and one another. We cannot exist without the presence and support of interconnecting circles of creation, the geosphere, the biosphere, the hydrosphere, the atmosphere, and the sphere of our sun. All are related to us. We depend on each of these spheres for our very existence. And now let's all welcome Jessica Reed to sing for us this morning.
Jessica. That was beautiful. So here I stand at this pulpit saying good morning to you out there, you in your individual chairs, each of us in our individual bodies. We're all separate, right? Everything in this room, this pulpit, this microphone, this floor, all separate. Well, that's what our egos would have us believe. But what if our egos have it wrong? Or what if they're obscuring a larger or different truth? What if there is another way of viewing reality? This is what I want to explore today. Another way of viewing reality, the way of the mystic, that which is revealed by the mystical or unity experience. But first, if I'm going to suggest that our egos have it wrong, or at the very least don't have the whole picture, I better talk about what I mean by ego. So here it is. By ego, I mean our sense of self, our identification with our bodies and minds, the thing that shores up our sense of separateness from each animate or inanimate thing. Of course, our egos are important, crucial even. They allow us to function in and move through the world of apparently separate forms. They allow us to plan and to remember the past. They allow for interaction with other egos. They allow us to drive a car and cook dinner and make friends. But our egos also keep us trapped in a world of duality, a world of this and that, of male and female, of light and dark. The ego's constant judgment, which allows us to measure the distance from here to there and to know when to put on a coat, also stays busy judging others as good or bad, viewing life as desirable and death as terrifying. And then there's the ego's relentless chatter, much of it negative, the voice in the head that constantly tells us we are not measuring up, chastises us for not doing better, reminds us of what we have not accomplished and what we need to worry about. Of course, the ego is also in play when we are pleased with ourselves. It never takes a rest. Or does it? A mystic might say otherwise. So what is a mystic, and what does a mystical experience have to teach us about the nature of reality? There are a couple of ways we might define the term mystic. We might view a mystic as one who has an intuition of a unity that underlies what appears to be a world of separate forms, what a Taoist would call the 10,000 things. Rabbi Lawrence Kushner, who is a student of the Jewish mystical tradition of Kabbalah, puts it this way: a mystic is one who has the gnawing suspicion that the apparent discord, brokenness, contradictions, and discontinuities that assault us every day might conceal a hidden unity. Another way of describing a mystic is one who has actually experienced this unity. That is, one who has had what is called a mystical experience. And what is a mystical experience? Here is where I try to describe the indescribable. Let me begin by telling you about an experience that I had over 40 years ago. I was walking on a beach and had reached a point where a river met the sea. I was very unhappy, heartbroken over the end of a relationship. Suddenly, the outlines of every separate thing around me became very clear, and the colors of the sky, sea, and beach grass became brilliant. And then I felt myself step out of time, and I experienced what felt like a different dimension. The light and sound around me shifted, and I no longer felt myself to be a separate being. I was no longer young or old, male or female. In fact, although I was having the experience, I had no real sense of myself at all, a paradox. I felt, or perhaps knew, the profound interrelationship of all of creation and the presence of something larger than myself. I knew that I was safe and that all was well and as it should be. I understood deeply that there was no reason for fear or worry. The experience was brief, perhaps a few seconds, although time lost its meaning while it lasted. When I returned to my separate self, I felt very peaceful and understood that something important had occurred, although I did not then have the words to call it a mystical experience. Having given you this description, I must confess that it feels entirely inadequate. In fact, the inability to capture the mystical experience in words, this ineffability, is one of the 4 hallmarks of the experience described by William James in his seminal work, the varieties of religious experience. The second of James' hallmarks is the noetic quality of the experience. That is, the experiencer reports new knowledge or insight full of significance and unknowable through the intellect. This describes my experience on the beach, knowing that I was safe, knowing that there was nothing to fear. And this was not me knowing that I would never get sick or get hit by a bus or experience great sorrow. It was a knowing that everything is ultimately as it should be, that we are safe in a way that we can't begin to grasp. Another paradox. The next quality of the mystical experience noted by James is its transience. The experience tends to be brief, although there is, in fact, no time, as our egos know it, during the experience. Finally, James describes the mystical state as passive, explaining, when the characteristic sort of consciousness once has set in, the mystic feels as if his own will were in abeyance, and indeed sometimes as if he were grasped and held by a superior power. And what is the characteristic sort of consciousness of the mystical experience, alluded to by James? The primary characteristic, as already noted, is a sense of unity with all that is. In the mystical experience, one transcends the ego, feels the ego fall away. With the loss of ego, there is a feeling of being out of time and at one with all. There is no separation between things. There are in fact no things. Fear slips away, and there is often a feeling of great joy or peace. Many people return from the experience reporting they no longer fear death. Here is the poet Alfred Lord Tennyson's description of his experience. Individuality itself seemed to dissolve and fade away into boundless being. And this is not a confused state, but the clearest, the surest of surest, utterly beyond words, where death was an almost laughable impossibility. The loss of personality, if so it were, seeming no extinction, but the only true life. And here is another description set forth in The Mystic Experience, a book by theologian Jordan Paper. It wasn't me being aware I knew something. By know, I mean I experienced the unity directly. Afterwards, I felt fantastically marvelous. I felt like shouting, "It's all right, no need to worry, everything is fine." It is apparent that for each of those I've just quoted, the experience was both positive and life-changing. Further, for each of them, it was not the ego doing the knowing, it was a direct experience of unity. This is one of the paradoxes I mentioned above, the knowing without feeling that one is a separate being doing the knowing. And although our egos struggle mightily with such paradoxes, acceptance of paradox is part of the mystical experience. In fact, paradoxes are not paradoxes at all when one is in the midst of a unity experience. In addition, the mystical experience often gives a new and profound meaning to phrases that have lost vitality through repetition, such as God is love, or love is all that matters. These phrases now glow with a meaning that can be life-changing. And here's another thing. You don't have to be on a particular faith path or be religious at all to have a mystical experience. The pie chart on the screen will illustrate how I think about this. The triangular sections of the pie represent several world religions as well as atheism. A more elaborate chart could include more religions as well as humanism and other non-religious paths, but this chart is sufficient to make my point. If one views each piece at the place where it joins the outside of the pie, then the religions look very different. This is where dogmas, creeds, and fundamentalism dwell. This is where people hang out who are certain they have a hotline to the truth. The closer one moves toward the center of the pie chart, the less rigid the beliefs of those in each slice become. There is more talk of love and tolerance and less concern about being on the only true path. And in the center, where all of the pieces fade into one point, lies the mystical experience, the experience that burns away all dogma and creeds. It is here that one has a direct experience of the wholeness that mystics call God, and that I generally prefer to call the divine or the ground of our being. And let me pause here to say that when mystics use the word God, they're not talking about an old guy in the sky. Indeed, this notion of a separate God out there can't be squared with the mystical experience of wholeness. Thus, the Christian mystic Meister Eckhart described God as a not God, a not mind, a not person, a not image. By listing what God is not, I believe Meister Eckhart is trying to lead the reader away from the standard image of God as being something like us but powerful and all-knowing, and toward an inkling of the mysterious unity that underlies our lives. In any event, the mystical experience does not depend upon the word one chooses for the wholeness at the center of my pie chart, or upon one's embrace or rejection of religion. It simply is. And although you may prepare yourself for its occurrence through meditation or prayer or a walk in the woods, it is generally, as noted by James, unbidden. So whether you are an atheist, agnostic, humanist, or follower of a faith path, know that the mystical experience may yet come to you. Now that we have considered the mystical experience, let's look at how it might affect the lives of those who have had such an experience, as well as those who intuit a unity underlying our separateness. Once we have felt the safety and joy of the unity experience, do we simply float off into la-la land, ignoring the cares of our separate lives and the work that needs to be done to heal the world? I think not. Again, the words of Meister Eckhart. A person works in a stable. That person has a breakthrough. What does he do? He returns to the stable. He returns to the stable, that's it. We return to our lives with a deeper and wider understanding of the nature of reality. At the same time, the mystical experience gives us faith that life has meaning and that there is ultimately nothing to fear. It gives courage to move forward through the challenges here in the world of separate forms. We spend our lives shoring up our egos, our separate boundaries. It can be frightening to feel the ego dissolve. Yet if we don't fight it, we might realize that we are more than our egos. We are part of a great unity. Isn't this what physics is teaching us? Everything is energy and motion. As in the mystical experience, there are no boundaries. Maybe it is our focus on our separateness that allows us to view other humans as less than human, other species as inferior, has allowed us to despoil the planet that supports us. Maybe the mystical experience, the felt experience of unity, is what will rescue us from ourselves and bring us home to the certain knowledge that we are all in this, whatever it is, together, and that everything we do either adds to or detracts from the well-being of all. Maybe the mystical experience can make us kinder, less judgy, less fearful people. All of this is aspirational, of course. I wish I could say that after my experience on the beach, I walked forward in utter fearlessness. I did not. In fact, it took over 2 decades and a couple of more unity experiences for me to begin to understand what had happened on the beach. I had, after all, been very young at the time and had left religion and God, as I understood him, far behind. My eventual understanding of the experience, such as it is, largely came from 2 spiritual treatises. The first was the Tao Te Ching, attributed to Lao Tzu, who is said to have lived in China around 500 BCE. The Tao Te Ching describes an unending process in which the Tao, or way, is manifested in visible forms that eventually return to their starting place in the Tao. The second text that opened my heart to a new way of understanding my interrupted beach walk was the Gospel of Thomas, one of the early Christian writings discovered in Egypt in 1945. These writings provide a window onto an alternate view of Jesus, one that did not make it into the official canon that we've come to call the New Testament. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus describes the kingdom of God as existing inside you and outside you, and describes himself as coming from what is whole. These images from these two apparent mystics illuminated my experience on the beach, somehow exploding the paradox of our moving separately through the world of forms while being part of an inseparable whole. The beautiful words of the Tao Te Ching and the Gospel of Thomas gave me language for my expanded and expanding understanding of God or the divine, while supporting my sense that I am ultimately safe and have nothing to fear. And yet it is true that I have lived my life with plenty of fear. My ego continues to put up a good fight against my glimpses of unity and safety. And let's not even get into my need to judge and be right. I had to shake my head at myself when I became consumed with judgment about someone who had done something thoughtless, even as I was working on this sermon about transcending the ego. What can I say? I'm a spiritual work in progress. Still, the lessons of my unity experience have not been lost on me. There are times when I am able to take my ego less seriously, times when I recall my experience on the beach or read a page of the Tao Te Ching and feel again for a moment that sense of peace and lack of fear. I wish for all of you such moments, regardless of whether you have had a mystical experience, moments when you remember that we are not ultimately separate, even as we navigate the world by the light of our separate egos. May we each walk with courage and kindness, remembering always that those we encounter belong to the unity of which we are a part. I will leave you with these words from the Sufi mystic Rumi. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. May it be so. Please rise as you are able to sing We Belong to One Another. The words will be on the screen.
You already know this melody. It's the same thing as Come Thou Font of Every Blessing.
We share half of the cash offering with a local organization doing good works in the community. Portland Immigration Coalition is our sharing and bounting partner from March through August. They work to empower immigrants, unite families, and build a just community. PIRC maintains a hotline to report ICE activity, provides referrals to legal aid and social services, trains rapid response migrant watchers, and maintains a daily presence at the Portland Immigration Court and ICE building. If you are attending online, you may donate by visiting our website and clicking the donate button, or you may scan the QR code on the screen. If you are here for the first time, we invite you to let the basket pass and truly be our guest. The gifts of the congregation will now be most gratefully received. Please remain seated and sing our song of gratitude, number 1010 in the teal hymnal, We Give Thanks. The words will be on the screen. As we extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore and rest, engage and heal, love remains the center. When all we can see is cold ashes, love remains. I would like to thank everybody that had a hand in today's service. And a couple more announcements. The Snowcap Volunteer Work Party is Friday, August 14th from 3 to 5. That's the first time it's been a party and not a work. There's a work party on Saturday, August 22nd from 9 to 12 for outdoor prep for homecoming. And I have another announcement from Cynthia.
Thank you. Planning has begun for the 2026 Eastrose annual auction. We have a date, Saturday, November 7th in the afternoon. I will put details in Petals, and we'll talk more about the details, but just go home, mark it on, or do it on your phone right now, mark down November 7th in the afternoon. It'll be at the same location as last year, and we will, as I said, remind you in Petals. What I need you all to do is start thinking about services or items you can donate this year. For example, maybe you could host a game party or a meal. Maybe you could offer a service like cleaning or gardening or driving. Or, we're a talented bunch. Share one of your talents. Teach others. Or offer up some artworks or special items. Tom and I have been going through our closets, and there's some things that are just we're ready to let go of, but it might be find a really nice new home with one of you. We're looking to get new people involved in the planning. Let's face it, those of us who have been doing the auction for a number of years are sort of aging out of the process. So we need some new folks to step up. Let me know if you can help with planning. I'm pretty sure all of our meetings will be on Zoom, so we can schedule them whenever you can be on Zoom with us. And just put this in the back of your mind. Oh, I don't wear that cap anymore, but it's really in good condition. Maybe somebody else would really like that. I'll put it in my box for the auction, okay? So look for more information in coming weeks. And I think we've settled on a theme called Harvest Moon. And if you know the song by, yes, she's shaking her head, she knows Neil Young, that's gonna be our theme. So it's going to be a really fun time. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please join me in reciting the unison benediction. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering, honor all beings. Please remain seated and enjoy the postlude music, after which it will be time for social hour and coffee and conversation in the Thatcher Room. Go in peace.